In February 2005, 3 former PayPal employees registered a domain name and started building a website. The idea was simple. Online dating was booming. Video was getting cheaper to produce. Why not combine them? They called it YouTube. The tagline was, "Tune in, hook up." It failed almost immediately. Nobody wanted to upload dating videos. That single decision, which took probably 30 seconds to make, eventually became worth $180 billion. But here's the thing. The money is not the interesting part of this story. What is interesting is why that one small change unlocked something so enormous, and what it reveals about how demand actually works. Not just for technology products, but for anything you are building. By the end of this video, you will understand 3 things you can use right now. How to find demand that already exists but cannot get through, why distribution beats product every single time, and the one question that determines whether your first idea succeeds or your second one does. We will come back to all 3 of these properly, but to get there, you first need to understand what was actually happening on the internet in 2005, because it explains everything. And before we dive in, if there is a company you want us to unpack next, drop it in the comments right now. We read every single one. The 3 founders were Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim. All 3 had worked at PayPal. They had watched a payments startup become a billion-dollar acquisition by eBay in 2002. But here is what most people miss about the YouTube story. The founders did not invent the desire for online video. The desire was already there, sitting completely blocked behind a wall of technical friction. Think about what the internet looked like in 2005. Broadband was new. The iPhone did not exist. Video online meant slow-loading, low-quality clips that required specialist software and patience most people did not have. Jawed Karim later described 2 moments from 2004 that crystallized this: the Super Bowl halftime show incident, the Indian Ocean tsunami. In both cases, enormous events happened, and he wanted to find video footage online. He could not. There was nowhere to search for and share video on the internet. And frustration at scale is the most reliable signal of demand a founder can find. But hold that thought. Before we get to how YouTube unlocked that demand, there is something about the founding story that almost nobody knows. It directly explains why the pivot worked as fast as it did. The dating site failed because nobody wanted to make dating videos. That much is obvious. But what the founders noticed in those first few weeks was more interesting than simple failure. People were still uploading videos, just not dating videos. They were uploading clips of their cats, snippets of concerts, funny moments on their phones. They were using the platform for something completely different from what it was designed for. This is the moment the best founders recognize and most founders miss. When users are doing something unexpected with your product, that is not a problem to fix. That is a signal to follow. Hurley, Chen, and Karim followed it. They removed the dating requirement entirely. The platform cost them almost nothing to change. The change itself took almost no time. And within months, they had more traffic than they could handle. By July 2005, YouTube was serving 3 million video views per day. By December, it was 50 million. By October 2006, YouTube was serving 100 million video views per day and had become the 5th most visited website in the world. Remember the dam I asked you to hold in mind? YouTube did not create that demand. It just removed the wall that was blocking it. That is the first lesson, and we will come back to it properly shortly. But first, What happened next is even more important. In October 2006, Google acquired YouTube for $1.65 billion in stock. At the time, almost every analyst called it an enormous overpayment. YouTube had around 60 employees. It had essentially no revenue. So why did Google pay $1.65 billion? Because Google understood something that almost nobody else did. YouTube was not a video website. It was the world's second largest search engine, already handling more queries than Yahoo. People were not just uploading videos, they were searching for them, millions of times per day. And search was Google's entire business. There was a second insight. In 2006, most internet content was text. Google had indexed the world's text. YouTube was indexing the world's video. The company that owned the index owned the distribution. And whoever owned the distribution controlled the economics of everything sold through it. That is the second lesson. Distribution is the business, not the product. We will come back to this. But first, the acquisition had one more consequence that changed everything about media. We are now halfway through this story. You have seen the pivot. You have seen why Google paid $1.65 billion for a company with no revenue. But the three lessons we promised, and the one that is most directly useful to you right now, are still coming. The last one is the most counterintuitive of all. Stay with us. Today, YouTube has over 2.7 billion logged-in users per month. 500 hours of video are uploaded every single minute. It is the second most visited website on Earth after Google, which owns it. But the more important story is what YouTube did to who was allowed to make media. Before YouTube, reaching an audience required infrastructure only large organizations could afford: a television studio, a distribution network, a production team. YouTube made all of that irrelevant overnight. Mr. Beast started in his bedroom at 13. He now runs a media operation worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Individual creators earn more from a single YouTube channel than most television networks earn from prime time. YouTube changed who was allowed to make media. That shift is arguably the most significant media disruption of the last 50 years. And it happened because 3 people removed a dating requirement from a website that was not working. Now let us talk about what that actually means for you. The 3 lessons we planted throughout this story are ready to pay off. The YouTube story has been building toward 3 things the whole time. You may have spotted them already. Remove friction, and users will do the rest. YouTube did not teach people to want video. The demand was already there, sitting blocked behind technical friction, exactly the way Kareem described when he could not find the tsunami footage. What YouTube did was remove every obstacle between a person who had something to share and the audience that wanted to see it. The question this raises for you is not about video. It is this: in whatever you are building, where is the demand that already exists but cannot get through? There is friction between that demand and you. Find it. Remove it. The users will arrive without you having to convince them. Ask yourself that question today. Not tomorrow, today. Distribution is the business, not the product. Google did not buy YouTube because it had a beautiful interface or a profitable revenue model. It bought YouTube because YouTube owned the place where people went to find video. Once you control where an audience goes to find something, you control everything sold in that category. Most people think about the product. The people who build lasting businesses think about who controls the path between the product and the customer. That path is the real asset. The product can be copied. The distribution cannot. What is the distribution layer in your market? Who owns it? Is there a way to build or own a piece of it? Your first idea is a door, not a destination. YouTube's founding idea was video dating. It was wrong, but it got the technology built, the team together, and the domain registered. The dating concept was not a failure. It was a starting point that led to the actual discovery. Most founders treat their first idea as something to defend. The best founders treat it as something to learn from. The question is never whether your first idea is right. It is whether you are paying close enough attention to what your users are actually doing. That is where the real idea is hiding. YouTube's users told them exactly what they wanted. They were uploading the wrong kind of videos. Every video on Unpack Business goes inside the companies that shaped the world and extracts the strategy so you can use it yourself. The dam YouTube removed. The distribution Google paid $1.65 billion to own. The first idea that was wrong but led to the right one. These apply to anything you are building right now. If you want to keep learning how the world's most important companies were actually built, subscribe. Understanding this is one of the most valuable things you can do for your career, your business, or your own ideas. And if this story got you thinking about another company you want us to take apart, tell us in the comments. We build our content from what you ask for. We will see you in the next one.